And welcome to episode 584 of the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says,
From the dawn of time we came, moving silently down through the centuries, living many secret lives, struggling to reach the time of the gathering, when the few who remain will battle to the last. No one has ever known we were among you until now.
Nice.
Yes. No one has ever known we were among you until now.
Nice.
Little Highlander for you. How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, hanging in there. You?
I can't complain too loudly.
No?
Nah. No, I had a I Nancy would tell you it's a life-changing moment, but it's not that big. But we got a new toilet.
Okay. That's
So
your life-changing moment?
well, here's why. Like, so the toilet was running, and I've tried to fix it.
Yeah.
I replaced the fill valve. I replaced the flapper. The next thing it needed to be fixed was the thing the flapper comes down on.
Okay.
It wasn't creating a seal.
Okay.
So the toilet's been running, and my water bill has been extraordinarily high.
Okay.
So I've reached a point where I can no longer, like that thing that needs fixed is beyond my level of expertise.
Okay.
So I called my landlord and said, "Hey, the toilet's running. I need you to. I've replaced this and this. I think this is what's next, and I can't do that. I don't know how. I don't have that level of expertise."
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I'll come out and I'll get it done." I'm like, okay, great. So he comes out, and he's like, I show him like what's going on, and I show him I replaced this, and he's like, okay. Well, he's like, yeah, this looks like this is going to be difficult. These bolts are looking pretty rusted. Because apparently to replace the thing that the flapper seals on, you've got to take the tank off.
Yeah.
And he tried for a bit, and he came to me and he goes, "You know, screw it. I'm just going to buy a new toilet."
Okay.
I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like, so now I've in my last apartment, they had to replace the toilet there as well. And like that was like toilet El Cheapo.
Okay.
Like, and it was like the guy was even saying like, yeah, I hate doing this because you got like a heavy flow toilet, and this is meets certain requirements, so it's a low flow toilet, and
Sure.
like okay, like whatever, like you gotta do, but it was still like just a basic toilet.
Yeah.
And again, so I wasn't expecting anything fantastic or anything. And not that this toilet's fantastic. Like this isn't, but it's like a hotel toilet. It sits up higher. So like when you're sitting on the throne, you're not sitting as low to the ground,
Right.
which is nice. But also, instead of having a handle, it has two buttons.
Okay.
One button is for like a lighter flush, and one is for a heavier flush.
Okay. Strange. Okay.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you drop that deuce, and you're just like, man, I need a little bit more water. You're hitting button number 2.
Nice.
Like if I button number 1, there's gonna be some left behind. I hit button number 2. I need the full
hitchhikers.
I need the full tank.
Right.
Where the first button only gives you like a half a tank of flush. So yeah, he puts it in, no big deal. I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot, appreciate it. I'm sorry you had to replace the toilet. It sucks, but And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'll get it taken care of. Takes the old toilet out, and we're done with it.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy immediately, as soon as he's not even out of the driveway, and Nancy's like running upstairs to like see the new toilet.
Okay.
And she is squealing like a schoolgirl. Now I'm thinking like, she's like, you gotta come over here and see us. I'm thinking like, what, did we get a bidet?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, I'm thinking like, we got a bidet. That would be life changing.
Yeah.
Like that would be like, let me tell you about the bidet. But no, and it's like it's cool and it's interesting.
Now you have to. What's this? No,
What?
story behind the bidet? Big guy.
Well, I mean, like you know, like I mean, I've never actually used one, but it's like that thing of like, having water shot into my rectal region to clean myself would be
Right.
nice. I think everybody would agree with that.
Yeah.
But still, it was just that thing of like she was just so fascinated by the 2-button system.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, it's cool, and I'm glad we have it. And I'm gonna miss having a. Like, there have been a few times where like I'm looking for the handle. I'm like, oh, that button.
Right.
And like you just like you push like, and you would even think like you have to hold the button down or something. Like
Right.
you just press and release, and it takes care of itself. Yeah.
Trap is clean.
Yeah, exactly. The trap is clean. Ah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was like my excitement for the week was we got a new toilet, and
There you go.
yeah. Nancy's happy as a clam.
I thought you went running up there to Deuce.
No, no.
So excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited I gotta poop.
What is happening over
She is the cat Sabine is playing with the grocery bag. So just added some of that what AMSR or whatever that's called.
I don't know.
Like you do that. It's like I don't know, like, you do that like with like I think you see it on YouTube a lot where it's just like it sounds.
Oh.
People find that soothing, like listening to like certain sounds.
Oh, okay.
I've used it like once or like I guess like white noise is like considered that now, I guess, or like like people who like sit there with like that thing that like makes it sound like it's raining,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I guess I've actually used it once or twice. I've used it's the sounds of Blade Runner.
Really?
Yeah, like you get the sounds of like the street merchants, but also like a little bit of like in the background, like a little bit of like that Vangelis like synth
Yeah.
noise. Like I was like, I can fall asleep to this. Okay, this will help. But I don't do that very often. I could think of maybe 3 times in my life I've done that.
Really?
Yeah. Just you need that little something extra to help you.
Did it help?
Yeah. I'm not quite sure, but that's a combination because it's like it's rain, and it's like the street sounds from like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It's like you got like somebody like yelling in Chinese at one point or something, or whatever is going on like on the streets of New Los Angeles in 2049.
Right.
But then you get like that little bit like so you get like the rain and like the street sounds, and then that little bit of Vangelis kind of synthesizer, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Nice. Oh, I'm tired.
Well, you're a man on the move, man on the go.
Yeah, I've been going.
Yeah. How was the experience going to the Steeler game last week?
Boring.
Yeah.
It was. It was boring. I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay. It was just, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't into it. I don't know.
Well, I think it being a preseason game, and
No, I know. I mean,
and the offense did not look good at all.
No, they didn't.
But like, last year at this time we were talking about how amazing Kenny Pickett looked.
Yeah.
And boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit too. Like, if they would have thrown for 4 touchdowns in this game, we would have been, screwed.
Well,
for
like
this season.
it's become that thing of like I don't trust anything I see in the preseason anymore.
Yeah.
Like last year, like, and you've seen it in years gone by too, like where you'd watch the team play and you'd be like, I don't know if we got it, and then they'd come out and they'd look much better come regular season.
Right.
Or, wow, they looked really good in the preseason, and they the first 3 games they're shit in the bed.
Yeah.
So it's like it is that thing of like, I've known all my life that the preseason doesn't tell you anything.
No, it doesn't.
But last year, for some reason, I guess just because, and I'll say this, because I wanted to believe in Kenny Pickett so bad,
Yeah.
I wanted to see him develop, that I bought into what I was seeing.
Right.
And then you found out later on it was just, smoke and mirrors. That bums me out,
Yeah.
because I'm a fan. I wanted to see him succeed. It didn't happen.
Right.
And I've moved on now. But this year I'm looking at it, and I can't say from what I've seen, I'm like, boy, I trust this, or I trust.
Right.
There have been some things I would say, like, yeah, that's why Justin Fields got traded to us.
Yeah.
This is why Chicago gave up on this guy. And I've seen people make excuses for him. But, like, again, overall, I'm not making an overall judgment just because it's the preseason at this point.
Right.
Until he actually functions in a real game,
No,
I can't get excited or for either quarterback.
Right.
Russell Wilson didn't play very well. Justin Fields hasn't played very well. Like, I'm just not, oh my goodness. It's we'll see come week 1. We'll see come week 3. Like, it's going to be, how does a team look when it really counts?
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. That's all.
Yeah.
It's preseason. It's a different vibe there anyway.
It is, because the stadium is half full.
Yeah, and none of the season ticket holders are there, so it's different. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like different. People who like, this is my first time in Heinz Field.
Yeah. Not that it's a big deal. It's just
no, but it is a different vibe, because it is like, one.
I'm not trying to sound snobby or anything.
No, I get it, because it's like, number one, like, by the time you get to the third quarter, the guys you're watching are probably going to be bagging groceries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that you're watching a lot of the game is being played by guys who may or may not make the team.
Correct.
So it's very tough to, like, invest in those players. It's like, well, how many of you guys are really going to be here come week 1?
Right.
And
I guess that's what's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know it. You know what I'm saying?
No, because I've been to preseason games too. I've been to like 2 in my life, and both times it was like, no, I mean, both times I went, though, it was like, that was when they were still playing 4 preseason games, and that third preseason game was kind of like the starters played until like the third quarter.
Right.
And so like the one game I went to was against Green Bay when Favre was still there.
Oh, wow.
So I got to like watch Favre play, but still, like, even with that, it was kind of like, yeah, he's not really like, if this was a regular season game, he probably wouldn't have made that throw, or he may have run, but he took a sack here because he's not looking to get injured,
Right.
Like, it was shit like that. Like, you could tell, like, he was like, it wasn't a full on effort by like Brett Favre, like you would see in a regular season game. So, and the same with the Steelers, like, you can see like Ben was like, let's just throw this one.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here.
I'm not looking to get fucked up today.
Yeah. So.
This isn't do or die here.
Right. So, I get it. Like, preseason definitely has a much different vibe.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't feel the same.
Nothing on the line.
Yeah. I mean, from a fan standpoint, not, I mean, from the player standpoint, like, those guys playing in the second half, like, they are fighting for a job. That is the biggest game of their lives.
Yeah.
But it is tough to kind of buy into it.
Yeah.
From a fan standpoint. Sabine Wren, stop it. My goodness.
She's all about getting into stuff.
That's her MO. She loves getting into shit.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I think I've told, like, I give her treats. Like when I get done with work, I give her treats and I clean the litter.
Yeah.
Well, she thinks she should get her treats at 8 o'clock. And she will knock shit over. She will get up on my desk and, knock something over. Like she is just ornery. It's like she is right now. Like she just gets into stuff until you shoot her with a Nerf dart.
Nice.
In the body, well, never at the face,
In the face.
Never to the face. I'm not cruel. I mean, it's a Nerf dart. I mean, it does nothing to her.
You have a Nerf gun here?
It's just a one shooter, like a one shot. I got like two Nerf bullets, and it's like a little pistol, like one shot gun.
And it's just conveniently placed?
Yeah, conveniently placed so I can shoot her when she's bad.
Nice.
And then she plays with the bullet.
Nice.
Yeah, she plays with the dart. She's like, oh, look at this. I'm like, come on. Respect the discipline.
Not at all.
Not at all. None. Did not affect her in one bit.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing I did today.
Okay.
Well, it's been almost 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks on Monday. So when this is out, it'll have been 2 weeks. I cut the cord.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it on here. So I have cut the cord with cable, and I'm only getting internet from Comcast now.
Okay.
So I had to go today, and I had to return the 2 receivers that we had.
Oh.
Which isn't that bad, because I went to Monroeville. They have an Xfinity store.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, I go to Monroe. It's right there near the Target I go to. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Like I went to Target, got my stuff, went over to the Xfinity store, dropped that stuff. But it's like interesting. It's like, because it's it's that thing of like, they're set up like an AT&T store.
I know. I've been in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know why I was expecting just like a basic space with like a counter that you go to, and that's it. Like, no, like they're set up like you go to like your cell phone store and stuff. And I'm just like, this is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah,
I've been in there.
And then they tried to upsell me on, would you like to get like Xfinity Mobile? I'm like, no.
Just take my shit.
Yeah. Gave me a receipt, so I could get proof. Like if they try to charge me for it, like, no, I have a receipt.
Right.
But yeah, I was just like, I like walked in and somebody right there like, hi, how are you? How can I help you today? Like I've got a handful of receivers. What do you think I'm doing?
Right.
But it was the woman was very pleasant, other than like, she's like, well, have you thought about trying Xfinity Mobile? I'm like, well, I just upgraded myself. Oh, so you're in a contract kind of. I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, just upgraded.
Right.
So that was that, but I've got to tell you, like, I'm not missing cable at all.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, there was only one thing I watched on cable, and that was AEW wrestling.
Right.
And in all honesty, like, I can get the majority of what I want to see from those shows on YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that. I can see the show. I'm not. I miss out. Maybe I miss out on a whole match. But overall, I can still get the storylines and what's going on and stuff like that, which I'm fine with. Like. And it's that interesting thing of like what I get. The funny thing becomes is it's like I'm asking myself like, well, why did you hold on to it for so long now then?
Yeah.
Like, because based upon my viewing habits, like it does. Like looking back at it, it's like you should have done this 2 years ago.
Right.
Because based upon my viewing habits, there's nothing on conventional television I watch anymore.
Right. No, I know. I get it.
Like I don't like I think it was just that insecurity of like there's a security blanket of having it.
Right. There is.
But I'm at the point now, and me and Nancy we're talking about it,
Hmm.
and she asked me, she's like, like why are you still subscribing to cable? Like everything that's nominated for an Emmy award was damn near everything was from a streaming service.
Right.
Like so, if like the top shows. And I'm like, well, how much do you watch off of regular TV? She's like, there's nothing I don't watch on regular TV I can't get off of a streaming service.
Yeah.
Like Survivor, or Big Brother.
Uh-huh.
Like other than that, like we're not watching like primetime TV on CBS.
Right.
We're not watching primetime TV on NBC. Like everything we're watching is via streaming.
Right.
So like when she hit me with that, that's when it kind of like I think I was part of it. It's like, well, how much does Nancy watch? I don't know. Well, based upon her telling me like there's nothing I can't watch, it's not on a streaming service.
Right.
I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. What do you do?
But I feel like it was just it was like a security blanket of like, well, if streaming fails, I still have cable.
Right.
But it's clear that it's the other way around. At some point, cable is going to fail.
Yeah.
Basic TV is going to fail, and streaming will be the way to be.
Yeah.
So I cut the cord, and I'm shocked and not shocked that I don't miss it.
Okay.
Like I guess because it's that weird thing of like I'm thinking to myself, well, something's going to come up where it's like, oh, I have to have this. Well, it's like no, because like if you really think about it, Sean, anything that's on these channels, you can find a way to watch.
Right.
In all honesty, like
Yeah, you can.
I think my only concern, I have to look and see, is any Steeler game that's on Fox.
Yeah.
And I mean, at worst, I'll end up buying an antenna.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
digital antenna, connecting that to the TV, and
Yeah.
that's that. But other than that, like, I mean, there's nothing else that's going on that I'm like, well, how am I going to watch that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's been a relief, and, we'll see how it goes in a couple of months, but I feel fine about it.
Good. I'm glad it's working.
Yeah. Yes, that if anything is a life-changing event. I've cut the cord.
It is life-changing.
And like I was like figuring out, I was doing the math. I'm like, well, I'm only saving X amount of money, and then I thought to myself, no, you're saving more than that because you were already subscribing to all that shit.
Right.
Like I was already subscribing to Netflix and Paramount Plus and Hulu and Disney Plus and Max. Like I was already paying for all of this.
Right.
So it's not. Well, I'm adding this to what I'm. No, you're paying less because you already had all of this stuff.
Right.
So rejoice and be thankful.
Rejoice.
Yeah. So.
Watched anything?
I did. I watched season 3 of that 90s show.
Okay.
I love that show.
Yeah, that's good.
It's amazing to me, like going into the 3rd season, how they have found a way to kind of capture the feel of that 70s show.
Yeah.
But update it.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes any sense. I mean, it's still taking place in the past. I mean, it's taking place in the mid to late 90s.
Right.
But still, it's that thing of like, the show I really, really enjoyed here. Like, and like, how often do you see a spin-off of a TV show where you're like, well, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this is, and it's very, very good. But it captures that same feel of the original show.
Yeah.
Which I like a lot.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy a good comedy, I highly recommend that 90s show. First off, go watch that 70s show if you haven't watched that yet. And then if you have, then go watch that 90s show because it's just as good. It really is. And I watched a bad movie
Okay.
called The Union.
Okay.
It stars Mark Wahlberg.
That's new.
Huh?
It's new, right?
Yeah, it's new. Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry.
Yeah. It's bad.
It was bad. It's a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
It's an action movie. And like the whole concept is that there's this secret spy organization. And their whole gig is not that like they go and they get these, Harvard educated like where you typically get spies from. Like they're like,
Right.
no, we get the working man.
Yeah.
This is all people who they work construction. They're the labor backbone of the countries, and we have a group throughout the world that we can utilize because they're plugged in.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of the movie is that there is this computer that gets stolen that has a list of every spy in the world.
Okay.
Like no matter what country, like U.S., MI6, MI5, like Germany, like everybody who has a spy organization, they're listed.
Right.
And so of course terrorist organizations around the world would pay hundreds of millions of dollars to get their hands on this.
Okay.
So the union decides, well, we've all been outed, so we need to get somebody from the outside. And Halle Berry's character dated Mark Wahlberg's character in high school.
Okay.
And he's like, well, I think he's the perfect candidate.
Of course.
Of course, because he was, in high school he was an all-star athlete. He works on high rises and bridges, like he's an a steam fitter. So he's up on bouncing himself on beams and up in high places, and it's like, what? And then it's like, well, we've got 2 weeks to make you into a spy.
Right.
And like, there's a part of me that's like, okay, I'm going to suspend disbelief and go with this. Like, and I was like, the movie's okay. And then you get to the big car chase at the end.
Okay.
The bad guy is driving what looks like a 2000s Porsche 911 GT.
Okay.
Okay. Halle Berry is driving, I don't know what type of car. It was a Ford of some type. It looked like it had a rear-mounted engine. It was probably a performance car, but not nearly as performance as the Porsche. And Mark Wahlberg is in a shitbox.
Nice.
Like an absolute shitbox. That even though it was a manual, I guarantee you it was only a 4-speed. And if it got to 80 miles an hour, I would be surprised.
Right.
Like, it was just a shitbox of a car.
Right.
But yet, he is keeping pace on the twisting and turning mountains with the Porsche and the Ford.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay. Like, you've lost me. Like, I don't care. Because at one point, the bad guy says to Halle Berry, I've got the better car.
Right.
And she goes, it has nothing to do with the car and everything to do with the driver. So even if you believe that, which I do to a certain extent, the shitbox should have never caught up to them.
Right.
Ever.
Never.
Not even close.
Right.
And like, I hate to say it, this is when this is when like my complete and delusion of like trying to buy into this movie ends.
Right.
Because not only would he not be a good enough driver to catch up to them.
Right.
It was 2 weeks of like
spy work
training. But also the car was so bad. Like, I don't care if you had Dale Earnhardt himself behind the wheel of that car. It wasn't catching up.
Right.
It just wasn't happening.
Right.
Dale Earnhardt would have gotten out of that car and found something else.
Right.
But it wasn't like, even when you get to the end, it just wasn't a good movie. I was just like, I don't want to say I was bummed out because I had zero expectations for it, but I just expect something better from Wahlberg.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's that odd thing of like, I feel like he could do better work.
Well, it was payday, yeah.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure it was. I'm sure that, like, it bought him a very nice, vacation home somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think the thing was, like, it had like a really good cast. It had him. It had Halle Berry, who I like.
Uh-huh.
She's done some good stuff over the years. It had J.K. Simmons in it.
Another good person.
Great actor.
Yeah.
It had Jackie Earle Haley,
Right.
who is absolutely wasted in this movie.
Is he?
Yeah, like the total amount of screen time he gets, I was just like, really? You bring him in for this?
Right.
Like, I get, like, Jackie Earle Haley's not a big star, but he's a guy he could do very good work.
Right.
I refer you back to not only Watchmen but Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Like, he was amazing at Shutter Island, but like, come on, let that man flow a little bit.
Right.
Oh, you're pissing her off.
I don't think so. She's just playing.
Yeah. She's just playing until she lights you the fuck up.
I know she's ready.
So those are the two things I watched this week. You watch anything?
No.
No.
No, not this week. I actually I did. I've been watching The Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
But I had forgotten a lot of the last season. So I'm replaying that season. I'm rewatching that season
Yeah.
before I start with, the new one.
No, I get that. That is something that
Because it's been a while.
it has.
I mean,
It's been more than it's been, I think, more than a year since the last season.
yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
So I'm playing catch up on that. So
Yeah.
been good so far.
Yeah.
Because I remember when they went to the house and then he hallucinated about the footloose thing. And you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dance sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all good, and that whole fight scene was excellent.
Yeah.
Really good. Interesting characters. You know what I mean? So, but I had forgotten all about it. So I'm rewatching
The Sparrow Academy and everything.
Sparrow Academy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, the JFK thing and all that happening. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I remember dropping in on the Sparrow Academy. I remember a little, like, pieces come in here and there for some reason. So
Yeah.
I'm rewatching that, and then I'll watch the last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do that once they get around to showing us the final season of Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
I think it's already been a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, it's too long. I feel.
Well, I think part of it, I wonder if part of it is like just trying to secure down some of these actors now.
Yeah.
Like, the girl has gotten very popular. She's doing stuff.
Right.
Um,
What's his name's popular?
yeah, the guy who's the sheriff, he's very popular now.
Yeah.
He's doing things. I mean, I know, he was filming the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Winona Ryder just did Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like,
Maybe that's it.
the one kid was doing Ghostbusters. I mean, as they've progressed, the cast has become desired
Right.
as for work. So I wonder if that is part of it. Like, when do you have a hole in your schedule that we could do?
Yeah.
You know, we need you for like 3 months. When can that happen?
Yeah. Right.
So I'm
Isn't it
sure that's
David Harbour.
David Harbour. Yeah, he's the sheriff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I rewatched that Hellboy movie not too long ago.
Okay.
Only because I've been very intrigued by like the Hellboy trailer for the Crooked Man,
Yeah.
which to me looks fantastic. So I went back and I watched the David Harbour one. Cause I really like. It's still not good,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's better than I gave it credit for.
Yeah.
I think there was a part of me that like, as much as I tried to like, not hold it against it, the fact that it wasn't Del Toro and Perlman, it wasn't the continuation of that story.
Yeah.
Like I think I held that against it, even though I was trying very hard not to. There were still some things. I was just like, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
But overall, I still thought I think it's better than I gave it credit for, but still not as good as the two Del Toro movies.
Okay. That's fair.
But I liked Harbour a lot as Hellboy.
Did you?
Like I remember like that came out the first time I watched it when I went to the theater and saw it. Like the one thing I was upset about, like, man, I wish David Harbour had a better movie.
Right.
Because he was very good as Hellboy.
Yeah.
But so now I'm like very interested to see like a completely different take on the character, going much more of a horror movie route with this film. Like I'm very intrigued to see how this plays, because
Yeah.
The Crooked Man is one of those Hellboy stories that, if you've read the comic, is highly regarded.
Mm.
And like people were shitting all over this. They're like, well, it looks low budget. Well, it probably is, because the last movie tanked hard.
Yeah.
But they still believe in the intellectual property. So let's do it on the cheap. Let's do everything practically and see if we can't rebound.
Right.
And so what's a story we could do that would be less intensive.
Right.
And the Crooked Man would be that story.
Right.
So let's go down the horror movie route. Only doing it with Hellboy. Get a bug on you.
Bug.
Yeah, a little fly.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, so I wrote, I did rewatch that a while ago, but that was it was that. Also, I don't think I reviewed this, but I watched this a couple weeks ago. Batman: The Caped Crusader.
Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime,
Mm.
and it's a cartoon.
Okay.
And it's done by, it's produced by J.J. Abrams and Tim, the guy who did Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
And it is really fucking good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like, this is one of those things that for some reason Warner Brothers Discovery shit canned.
Okay.
And like J.J. Abrams kind of convinced them, hey, let me shop this around because I believe in this project.
Mm.
And I guess you're like, okay, well, you're J.J. Abrams, go ahead. And Amazon was like, okay, yeah, we'll take it. And they did 10 episodes, and it was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, it was like real beautifully animated.
Mm.
Little things here and there. I was like, oh, I mean, they changed the sex of the penguin.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But like other things were like so like it was just very, very well done. Like for 10 episodes, I was like, this is really fucking good.
Yeah.
And like there were some things like there was one thing that was like pissing me off the entire show.
Mm.
And at the end of it, they rectified it.
Okay.
I was like, oh. Like he keeps calling Alfred Pennyworth.
Oh, okay.
Like Alfred will be like, "Oh, I made you a sandwich, sir. Here's some coffee, sir." I was like, "I don't need it, Pennyworth."
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he's like, "Thank you, Alfred." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Now
yeah.
they're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like very like this very interesting thing. I was like, wow, you're really pissing me off, Bats.
Yeah.
Alfred's your boy, and it was like that relationship was being built. I was like, oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
At the end, I was like, oh, okay.
Is he a younger Alfred?
No, not overly young.
Uh,
He's a different. He's a pudgy Alfred. He's a fat guy.
oh, really?
Yeah, which is unusual because he's usually like the tall, thin British.
Yeah.
But they went that route with Alfred. I'm like, which again could care less. But the relationship between Batman and Alfred is what's important.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point of he stopped calling him Pennyworth and called him Alfred, I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see it now. Yeah.
Well, nice little touch.
Yeah. But overall, it's a very, very good show. I highly recommend it. If you have Amazon Prime, it's definitely worth watching. Batman the Caped Crusader.
Okay.
Yeah. So in some nerd news, apparently they're going to try to do a Pacific Rim prequel series.
Oh, Lord.
That doesn't excite you?
Hmm?
That doesn't excite you?
Oh, I didn't like Pacific Rim 2.
Neither did I.
I thought it was horrible. I've lost a little faith. You know what I mean?
Well,
You mean on Elba's character? That it's based off of?
well, that doesn't say that. I mean, but apparently what they're saying is Guillermo del Toro will be involved in this. He was not involved in Pacific Rim Uprising.
Right.
Which is why it sucked. But according to Variety, Legendary Entertainment is now developing a Pacific Rim origin story TV series with Eric Hessler at the helm. This makes sense since in light of the success of Monarch Legacies of Monsters, itself a prequel series of sorts to the popular kaiju movie franchise. He wrote the Oscar-nominated Arrival. He also kind of featured writing credit on Vin Diesel's comic book movie Bloodshot, which stunk.
Yeah.
And a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, which I like that remake.
Yeah, it was a good
I will stand behind that movie.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No. And again, Jackie Earle Haley playing Freddy Krueger.
Right.
And playing, like, I've said it before and I'll say it again, like, the biggest problem with Freddy is he became the hero of the story in many ways. Like, you were rooting for the kills.
Right.
Forgetting that, Freddy is a horrible, horrible, horrible person who deserves the the actions of the neighborhood for being a child molester.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that we kind of forgot. And
Right.
Yeah, Freddy, I like him. He's cool. I like the way he kills people. Yeah, but so. But this is not something it's something you're like overly geared up for.
Pacific Rim?
Yeah.
I'm skeptical.
Okay.
Just because the second one was so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But who knows? Maybe it'll be good.
Yeah, like I don't like it's that weird thing of like I think it'll be interesting to like they set up the world rather quickly. Like, here's what happened, and this is how we responded.
Right.
But to see all of that kind of take shape would be interesting to me.
Okay.
Like
the beginnings.
Yeah. Like, okay, so we built up the walls around the coast, and then we developed the Jaegers.
Yeah.
So what like who was the mastermind behind that, and how was the technology developed? Like kind of like everything kind of goes into because what we're seeing is like a finished product almost. It's like okay, here are the Jaegers who defend us, and this is how this all works, and like that's nice, and like it made a great movie,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, how do you get to that point?
Right.
How do we get to somebody creating Gypsy Danger?
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And these are nuclear-based Jaegers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The early ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll see.
And now, gentlemen, coming to the stage, get your money ready for Gypsy Danger.
Right.
That and the big news this week was the cancellation of Star Wars: The Acolyte.
Yeah, I read about that a little bit.
I'm not surprised it got canceled.
No?
No. Like, my review of it was meh. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it wasn't like I didn't hate it,
Right.
but I didn't love it. Like, it was just meh. Like, it existed. It happened.
Right.
There were some cool things about it. There were some things I didn't care for about it. Like,
Right.
it was just like, and what's funny is it's like people are upset that it's getting canceled, but it's because people didn't like it and didn't watch it
Okay.
that it's getting canceled. Like,
Yeah.
even if you said, I mean, it's the same thing that happened to Solo.
Okay.
Okay, like, if you think about it, like, compared to most Star Wars movies, Solo tanked.
It did.
It did not do well compared to other Star Wars movies.
Right.
And so because of that, Disney, Lucasfilm changed direction completely.
Yeah.
Like, other than the Skywalker saga, like, finishing that, we haven't had a movie since.
Right.
Like, they completely changed direction on how they were handling the property.
Right.
Because you voted with your wallet. You said, I'm not going to go see this movie. Now, I feel like a lot of people have since watched a movie and have, like, man, I wish I would have seen that in the theater.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to feel the same way about The Acolyte.
Right.
Like, it didn't do well. It didn't carry. People didn't watch it all the way through. There were people who watched, like, maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes and bailed.
Right.
And if I'm Disney and I'm looking at, like, okay, well, we started off with 3 million people watching this, and by the time we got to the last episode, 1.5 were watching it.
Right.
Well, that tells me there's a massive decline. Why am I renewing this?
Right. Why would you?
Yeah.
Financially.
Like, why would I put another 180 million into this show?
Yeah, it's not the Dark Crystal.
No. Like, that's the thing. Like, so you made a Star Wars show. There were people who enjoyed it, and good for them. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying, for me as a Star Wars fan, there were things I didn't care for.
Yeah.
And I watched it the whole way through. I can honestly give an honest. If people ask me, like, I guess I watched it all the way through, and these were the things I didn't care for.
Yeah.
Like, I did not care for the way at the end of it, like I understand, like, if you wanted to make, okay, the Jedi weren't the wholesome, milk drinking, good guys. I understand that. And even at the end, like, the amount of power they had made them so blind to what was happening directly in front of them.
Yeah.
That is why they fell.
Right.
And this is kind of playing off of that. Like, the top level of the Jedi had no clue what the lower levels were doing, and so things could be covered up to protect themselves.
Right.
So no, the Jedi weren't the wholesome good guys that we like to portray them to be all the time.
Right.
But the Sith are never good guys.
Right.
Like, never.
Yeah.
Like, and so at the end of it, they are kind of portrayed that way. Like, we're the victims.
Yeah.
Well, not really. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you've chosen a path of evil.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter how bad the Jedi are, and I'm not saying that they're right, but you are choosing a path of straight evil.
Right.
If I go there, when you corrupt a lightsaber crystal, there is a reason it is corrupt. You have done something so heinous that you're bleeding the crystal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. That is by definition.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, but they were portraying it, and like people were like, "Oh, these two they're so wonderful together," and I can't wait to see what happens. No, they're bad guys.
Yeah.
The second you become a Sith, you're a bad guy.
Right.
Until you turn back to the light, there is a problem.
Right.
So I think that was and there are times where you can play in shades of gray.
Right.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
But that is not one of those times you can play in shades of gray. Like there are Han Solo can be played in shades of gray.
Right.
He was a smuggler, but he also had core values where he was at least in the legends, the reason he had a bounty on his head was because he wouldn't travel with slaves.
Yeah.
He wasn't transporting slaves, and that's what got him in trouble.
Yeah.
Dropping his cargo because of he wasn't going to get taken in by the Imperials. Well, there were things that you could look at but then at the same time, what made him great was he shot first.
Right.
He kills Greedo right then and there. I'm not going to give you a chance. Bang, you're dead. Here's the money for your troubles. I'm on my way out.
Yeah.
That's what made Han Solo an interesting character. And you can play in those shades of gray. I think that was kind of what I wish Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, was more of.
Yeah.
Him kind of yeah, I'm a bad guy, but I'm kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
With the Jedi, you could talk about the corruption of the Jedi and what they think they're doing is right or whatever. But if you're a Sith, you're a Sith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That portion of there is no shade of gray. I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
And so it's I'm not disappointed. There were some things I would have liked to have seen the story carry out and tell us, but overall, I'm okay, it's canceled. So what?
Yeah, you weren't too worried about it.
No, I wasn't. But I mean, the people who were we need to save the show. I'm do you really? There's not enough of you to save the show. Because if there was, it wouldn't have been canceled in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah. You are just antagonizing her.
I know. She knows it too.
Yeah, she does. She's he is fucking with me. So also, a couple weeks ago was the D23 convention where Sabine ran. No.
Oh, I didn't do it. Don't be coming over here looking at me like that.
There's the D23 convention that had Disney showing a lot of their new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
What they've got, within the next year or so. And one of the things that they showed some footage from was Tron Ares.
Okay.
It's that little project we keep forgetting that they're actually making.
Right.
With friend of the show, Jared Leto.
Right.
So this is not a direct, as we know, this is not a direct sequel to Tron Legacy.
Okay.
Apparently, Jared Leto is playing a program on the grid.
Okay.
But what's interesting, so they showed this, and apparently people were very excited, and it was shown with a Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Now, the soundtrack for Legacy was highly regarded. I can't remember who did that soundtrack. The two guys who always wear helmets. Daft Punk, yeah. And that was amazing. Like that soundtrack really was amazing, and it sounded so good and it fit. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, if you get Trent Reznor doing a Nine Inch Nails style soundtrack for a Tron movie,
yeah,
okay, my interest is a little piqued.
Right.
Yeah. And I haven't I will say Trent Reznor has evolved into a guy who, when you see his name on a soundtrack,
right,
you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. The music is going to be very interesting to this movie.
Right.
I started going all the way back to I think the first one he did was The Social Network.
Yeah. And
so but he's always done it as Trent Reznor.
Right.
This will be as not apparently it's as Nine Inch Nails, and I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out. Let's see if I can find anything else here. I saw something where it was like this has a horror film feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm bummed out that I'm not getting a direct sequel to Legacy.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see how that played out.
Okay.
But I'm excited I'm getting a third Tron movie either way.
Right.
Is that the fact that they are making it, it's no longer in development hell. The fact that they are there's actual footage that was shown at this point.
Right.
Does it excite you that
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah, just also too. I understand you're wanting to see how that finished up, but at the same point, it's it's been so long.
I know. But it was so long between Tron and Tron Legacy.
Well, yeah.
I get it though. I get your point. I do wish they had struck while the iron was hot.
Yeah.
And given me that third movie. But I'm intrigued. Is this all going to take place on the grid? Is there a hero from the outside world being put into this?
Right.
And Ares is his creation, kind of like Tron was for Flynn. It's stuff like that how much of this is a quote unquote reboot, and how much of this is a fresh take on an already existing intellectual property.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
It feels like it's that odd thing of well, how much of it, Flynn owned the technology.
Right.
That. So how could somebody else have gotten access to it?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the thing that I'm kind of But the other side of me is just fuck it, who cares? You're getting a third Tron movie, dumbass.
Yeah. Just let it go.
Let's let it go. Enjoy the ride.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I've completed the main quest in Skyrim.
Okay.
Yes. No, there's still 1,000 other things to do in that game.
Yeah.
But the main quest I have finally completed.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Took you a while.
I'm over 100 hours into that game.
Oh, all right.
But here's the fun thing about the game.
Okay.
like, and I had to learn this over the years because there's a part of me that like thinks in real time, even when I'm playing a game like this.
Right.
And that's that you can put the main quest on hold and do this other shit.
Right.
Like, there's no clock ticking. It says, okay, you've got to go now to Dragon's Reach and capture this dragon to learn how to get to Aldwin's lair. Like, there's none of that going on.
Yeah.
So, like, I can reach that point and say, okay, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I'm going to go do a bunch of other shit to level up.
Yeah.
And take my time. And when I'm ready, I'll get there.
Yeah.
Now, in the meantime, you're hearing about like, oh, there was a dragon attack here and a dragon attack there. I'm like, fuck, okay, I should probably kill the dragons, but I'm busy on this thieving guild run,
Right. Right.
So it's like it's odd stuff like that. But what I did do, so I finished the main quest and I immediately downloaded the downloadable content because the version I have is the Ultimate Edition. It came with all the DLC.
Okay.
So I didn't have to buy it. It came with it automatically, which was like, awesome.
Yeah.
And I was even like putting those off because like immediately, like you download it and I walk out the door of my house and like immediately I've got like, hey, there are vampires overtaking the country and we're starting up the Dawn Guard. You should join them. And I've got cultists attacking me like immediately because I'm the false dragonborn. I'm like, what the like, I should have downloaded this all at once.
Yeah.
And then I got a courier coming in. Oh, and by the way, you can adopt kids now. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying to fight these people. I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
It's like the first 30 minutes after I downloaded the downloadable content was a clusterfuck because it's all hitting you at once.
Yeah.
But I reached a point though, like with the vampire quest, I'm like, man, I gotta take this on because every time I come into a city, there's dead people from vampires. So, like, that's a real thing I gotta handle. That's like the first time I've had somewhere I'm like, yeah, shit, people are really dying.
Yeah.
I should take care of this, So I started on that quest.
That's cool.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, like I'm like 120 hours into the game and there's still like parts of the country I haven't discovered yet, all sorts. Like, it's amazing for like a game that came out in 2012.
Uh-huh.
So this is a 12-year-old game.
Mm.
How for a PlayStation 3?
Yeah.
How in depth it is.
Yeah.
Like how much there is to this game. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like, and I've played other games by Bethesda, like Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Plays on the same engine. And like I'm almost like I like to go back because I feel like how much did I miss because I focused so much on the main mission.
Yeah.
Like, so I like to go back and like at some point play those games again, just to see what I missed by being so focused on like I gotta kill these motherfuckers.
Right.
And Fallout 3. Like I've got Fallout 3 I've got to play. I never completed Fallout 3, but that I remember being huge as well.
Yeah.
And that's again a Bethesda game that, runs on this kind of like the same engine.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting, like how for a game that's that old, how much there is.
Yeah.
Like I would have never thought that possible.
Right.
But I'm also getting the itch to go back and start playing some football too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I might split up my days. I might, one day will be Skyrim, one day will be football. I don't know. Well, that's all I got.
Right.
No email. Let me double check. There was no email sent in by Thad this week. I don't know if he was upset with me for my comments last week about everything, but No email. So either he didn't send. I hope he's okay. I do. I hope he's okay. But I don't even think oh yeah, he replied on. He let me know what his trivia team name was, and wow. So anything you'd like to add to the proceedings there, sir?
No, I'm good.
Oh, well, remember there are a number of different ways you can reach out and touch us. You send us an email like Thad usually does, and that email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd. We're very, very easy to find. And we are on a number of podcasting networks. So you can find us on the Tangent Bound Network, the Weeby Geeks Network, and the Pod Breed Network. Just give them a Google search and find all of the great content they have to offer. And lastly, as always, want to thank you, dear listener, for taking the time to check us out each and every week. We can't thank you enough for your support.
Yeah.
And on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.